the fellas and ladies who decided to go out and try to protect and defend us from other people who were trying to protect and defend themselves. So it's like, it's me fellas and ladies who, there we go, there we go. It's just insanity all the way. So we are now streaming on YouTube. And good morning, everybody. Hey, Mandy, how are things going in your part of the world?
Hi, they're fine.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad. So yeah, we all might be wanting to move to the UK or to Canada, or I'm thinking about Mexico.
You
I have a
don't
lot.
move anywhere. Where you are
I
is
know. I know. Oh my goodness.
Oh, who's this?
Oh, hang on, hang on. Let me get my
Okay.
participant
Wow.
list up.
Good morning, aren't you?
Hang on. Oh gosh. Where is my participant list?
Fuck, I just got up.
Rafi. It's Rafi that's phone
I
that's
know, I'm just trying to
oh,
find the things. Oh, so I can mute him. There we go.
oh well
I
done.
got it. All right.
Yeah.
I'm like, where is it? That's the
Then
way
also
devil.
you can roll at the top right of the corner and there'll be three dots there. You can mute people.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, roll over the square up at the top right. There's three dots.
Oh, okay. Well, I just, yeah, I had to get the participants up so that I could do that. So we're cool. All right. So, yeah, anyway, I've been going through some stuff, and we're all considering our options. You wouldn't believe it, but half an hour ago I was saying I'm going to just shut down Gather, and I'm not going to do it anymore.
Oh
Uh,
no, why's
well,
that?
yeah, because I was in an insane place. I was in an
Oh,
insane place, and I felt like, oh man.
oh, you're a very necessary force. You really are a real treasure to all of us, Lynn. So please don't ever feel like
Or,
that. You do a great service for all of us, not just us here, but everybody that watches. So, you
I
know,
hope so. I,
yeah, you're a miracle worker. You really are. Yeah.
uh, absolutely, and that's all we are. We're
Mm.
all miracle workers, and so I'm so grateful for us all. Uh, so uh, so yeah. Good morning, everybody. So I'm just going to pray us in, help center myself a little bit because I'm making sure my warmer's on here. All right. I'm here only to be truly helpful, and I'm really here to represent you, God, my Father, you who sent me here. Honestly, I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do. If I just listen to you, I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because you will direct me. And I'm content to be wherever you want me to be because you're here with me. And I'm healed as I'm going to let you teach me to heal. Amen. All right, that's better. That's better. Better. All right, so the poem I chose, and I think this is, I think it'll be helpful for all of us, because I know all this. Yeah. It's called The Amplitude of Gratitude, and I think it's a great one for um, just, you know, right now what we need. Right now what we need. And I would like to ask if someone would like to read this poem for us. Someone with a resonant voice who likes to speak clearly.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Rafi.
The amplitude of gratitude. God, the power of gratitude. You can't, it's incalculable. Whenever you feel anxious, sad, or defeated and cannot seem to get your task completed, Well, perhaps you feel angry or in a bad mood. The reason is mostly ingratitude. Whenever you feel negative in any way and misery or apathy blights your day, it's because you've forgotten who you are, asleep to the light of your inner star. Take that, but take heart, it's a temporary interlude which will vanish the moment you feel gratitude. Because gratitude dissolves all feelings of futility, being synonymous with humility, qualities which are both sides of the same coin. Hang on, I have to move this. Oh, there we are. Then, when healed, enabled you to rejoin the path of love where we're all in awe. Is the one key that opens every door, because awe brings with it a heart expansion, giving us entry to our inner mansion. This is our kingdom, our divine bolt hole, our source, our sanctuary, and sacred soul. And when we abide here, life's no longer an encumbrance. Instead, we are alive to our blessed abundance. And knowing ourselves as loved, successful, and rich, and to ensure in the future we don't fall in a ditch, we surrender any attitude that borders on hateful into a feeling of being grateful. But gratitude goes deeper here. It's not just about the things we hold dear, but also for when times are bumpy and rough. We gratefully learn from those things that are tough. We don't give any special propriety to happiness over fear or anxiety. We're not looking to try and shift to better feelings because they're all a gift. Our negative moods always offer a sign to show us we've left our inner shrine. So, how do we end this inner feud? Just aboard the train of gratitude. Perfect.
Perfect, perfect. And
Woo!
does this reflect where anyone is right now?
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, I know for me, the fear and anxiety and the, I try so hard not to fall into it, but man, it's just so tempting when it seems like the world has just gone crazy and yeah, forget, forget that, what we're here for is the gratitude. It's the only attitude. Well, anybody have anything they like to share? Yeah, Mandy, please.
I was just trying to find that. Oh yeah, it says raise hand. I've just missed it. Sorry. Just right. Yes, I don't have to get rid of that now. Oh yeah, it's gone. Yeah, I mean, when you asked me, you know, uh how I was and how which we do, don't we ask each other and oh yes, fine and everything. Another thing to do is to say, I was thinking, what was the highlight of your week? What was the highlight of your day? Or what challenges have you faced today? Or what challenges have you faced this week? Which opens an open-ended question, and I was sort of watching somebody on a video who suggested those questions, and and then when you ask that, you just get loads, so much more back. And so this that's happened this week in governments, as it's caused a shaking around the world, not just in your country, but I also had fears arising to do with my ethnicity and all that sort of thing, and thinking of somebody else that's over here that would love to be in power, who we'd rather wasn't, and and I just I really went into to it for a bit and just allowed all of it to come up, and it was great because this kind of level of unsettling, for me, what it does is it just really makes me go into Course in Miracles and all my spiritual stuff more deeply than ever. And so in that way, it's a huge gift, because we might do all this stuff every day, but it really gets in when you've got any fear going on. It's great. So when you asked me how I was, I could honestly say great, because even though there's been a lot of uprisings for me, it's all great that there's been these uprisings. Even though they might sort of feel shaky and different shades of emotions coming up, but I really sort of then allow that to come up, because it's so humbling, because when you've been sort of going along quite steadily, and all the stuff and all the teaching that you've been learning, whether it's the Sedona, Course in Miracles, or all the wonderful things that we implement, life can feel quite okay and nice, and we're not actually moving any deeper. Well, we are, and we're always, because we can't help it, we're always expanding. But something like this is shaking the belief fundamentally that there's anything out there. That's the belief that we have to let go of. It literally is our world. It's your world. It's my world. It's just what we create out of the world mind that is on show at the moment. And it's always been like that, and it just has degrees of getting mainly worse, because it's just the mind on show all the time, isn't it? It's just ego on show in the big in the big amphitheater of life kind of thing. But it's really just it's just an offering for us to just know that our world, our personal world, is exactly how we make it. If we create it with the paintbrush of fear, that's just the picture that we'll outpicture, and so we just keep coming back to this truth that there is no fear except the fear of fear, really. So and I think that's why gratitude, I'm so glad you always pick the right poem. I think that's why gratitude is such a lovely paintbrush, because it's like a giant eraser. As soon as you start naming the good, even if you're really shaking, like imagine you say, oh, that vase is nice, oh, that bird is nice, oh, that plant's nice, always I'm grateful for this warm duvet, or however tiny it starts, you just, in the shaking, you just name the good and the gratitude, and it really does get to such a pitch of expansion that it dissolves the fear. There can't be any fear, can there? Not really. Not in love, not in God, not in. That's the thing about the atonement, isn't it? That kind of really knowing who we are. But don't ever give in to it without us all having a good conversation, Lynn, because we wouldn't want to lose you. Anyway, I don't know if that's any help. I'm only saying it for me. We're always saying things for ourselves, aren't we?
And you're absolutely right, Mandy. And that's there's a fine line that comes between knowing and recognizing that this is my dream, this is my story, and this is really what I ask for. And there's a fine line between that and going into denial of, and saying it's not really happening, which the truth is it's not really happening, but in my mind it is. And so there's only one place I can go and look for where the problem is, because it's the only place there is a problem, and that's in my own thinking about what I think I'm seeing in my imagination of the what I think is the future.
Yeah. I just want to add to what you said, because I think there's a time for saying it's not really happening and a time for not saying that, actually, because when you're in the throes and of deep emotion, fear, whatever it is, it's not helpful to say that to yourself anyway, because it's kind of almost irrelevant. All you're dealing with is fear, isn't it? And the fear of the fear. So whether the picture is real or not at that point, we don't have to worry about that. That's almost like an extra burden to try and think, oh, just let me remember, how is it that it's not real? Oh, yeah. Because, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, we don't need that complication. All we need to do is, actually, all we need to do all the time is feel that emotion. Just drop the thoughts and the words for a minute and feel it and shape with it to the depth of our being until it just runs out. It just does run out. And sometimes we have to keep doing that over a few days if it comes up again, but each time it comes up. So that's what I mean by where I would say that it's irrelevant to say whether the picture's real or not, just at that moment. At this moment, you're dealing with the emotion and allowing it, so, and welcoming it so that you can be free of it, you know, and let it pass through you. And then you come back to the truth. It just naturally happens without you having to sort of force that picture, because that can be, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I think I do know what you mean, and you know, it's it's so simple, um, to just be with it. Just be with it. Be with what you're feeling. Be with, you know, I tend to, I don't like strong emotions. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I do not like strong emotions. I tend to be a very kind of placid kind of person, but I also have like a lot of fiery aspects to my thinking. And so, I like everything to just be kind of going calmly and nicely. And so when something goes off, which I did have something really go off on me this week, and have just, I turned into a raging maniac. Although you guys probably would never have noticed it because I have that placid demeanor. I don't go into it. But uh, but and I also know that it's just a feeling. It's just a thought. It's just an idea in my mind that's telling me, something is happening. And, if I look, and that's why I think this poem is so beautiful, is because, if I look at it with fear, look at it as if I'm being attacked, then I'm going to be, doubly careful and be not be my authentic self at all. But if I just stop imagining anything and just let things be what they are and be grateful for what is, which is all perfect, in that gratitude, then I don't have to be upset about things. I can really look at things and say, wow, this is pretty cool. Even though my ego will tell me it's not cool. There's nothing cool about this. This is not cool at all. But the reality is, it's all here to break me out of this thought system where, I think that the world is me and I'm in it. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. Joni, did you want to say something? So you put your hand down. Maybe something. I'm not going to imagine what's happening with Joni. I'm just going to go to Rafi. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have two perfect examples of the power of gratitude just this week. First, with the election, when that happened, the first thing I looked at, oh my God, this is catastrophic. And then I said, okay, what's the lesson here? And the first thing that came up was, all right, what would Jesus do? Well, Jesus would love unconditionally. So I just started loving him and everything else unconditionally. And I was so, talk about gratitude. Woo. Can you be in a higher place than loving unconditionally? I don't know. And then the second one, Lester Levinson used to say the two biggest fears you're always going to have are the fear of dying and the fear of separation. And both of them came up at the same time. I'm separate, I'm alone, I'm old, and I'm going to die. And I went, oh, great. Now I got to be so grateful for those feelings to come up so I could welcome them completely and then let them go and let them go and let them go and get into that quiet place that is beyond thoughts, feelings, ideas, beliefs, stories, that kind of thing. And so talk about two opportunities to feel grateful. Wow. And clear out all of that ego mind nonsense, all of that negative victim mentality that ego is so constantly perpetuating, and just drop it. Woo! Anyhow, yeah, the power of gratitude, it's incalculable. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Joni, please go ahead.
Yeah, you know, yeah, I could tell you more stories, but what I would like to share is, I keep thinking I'm working on it, but then I'll read something that goes along with kind of what Rafi was saying. I mean, I'm getting older, the Social Security, all those things, but really what was making me nauseous and just I could feel it all in my body is just dealing with people I for sure know voted against what I was valuing, like to the tune of 80% of my Michigan friends, like relative 80% of my relatives, 80% of my friends. And I I feel it in the nauseousness in my stomach, and it doesn't take much to to continue to fear in another area. Like I have a big test at U of M on Wednesday, and there's going to be side effects to the MRI that they're asking me to prep for, and nausea. And I feel very alone and I feel very frightened. And I know it's all the same fear, but I want to have boundaries. I I want a break. I want to be gentle with myself. And I don't want to talk to these people. And I feel like with the relatives and friends, I know who they are, so I can just avoid them. But I'm thinking, well, what if I go into the hospital and I can't recognize who's one of them? It's like, you know, are they gonna like take this opportunity to, yeah, death? You know, I'm not valuable. I'm not making any money, whatever. So I just, and even in our groups, people are saying, pointing out things I post, like, where I want to stand up for what I believe without attacking, but they're still saying it's attacking, and so any help would be helpful because now I'm eating bottles full of Tums.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Joni. And
Somebody at my door. Be back in a minute.
okay, so I know Rafi's going to have something good to say. I was just going to say this really quickly here. The minute I say I'm for something, I'm also saying I'm against something else. So, that's that's it. When I say I'm for this, then I'm against something else. And there's no way in this world that you can please all people. You can't, and you can't be pleased by all people either if you are looking at them or thinking about them in that way. So, what we have to do is just be grateful for them being having the freedom to do and say what they want to do and say. And also to think about, this is just a coincidental thing, and I did see this. Someone went through and calculated the number of eligible voters, the number of registered voters, and then the number of people who voted for one versus the other. And, where we look at it, it says, looks like 50-50, or, something like that. It's really like 22% of the people actually voted for that other person, for the person that won. Only 22%, not 50%, and definitely not 100%. So, when you go for your test, just think, 1 out of every 5 maybe.
Well,
did-
and I know when I'm in the world and rationalizing it with the ego, I'm never going to find peace. And I know that because I'm getting sick to my stomach. I'm getting a
Yeah.
physical reaction. My heart rate's going up. When I try to let go and do the processes Rafi has taught us and remember the gratitude, I start to wonder if I'm bypassing. So that's where the fact that it's coming up in other areas, I feel like I'm not doing what I need to do. And how do I still walk either at a Thanksgiving dinner and somebody's saying things? I know Rafi's going to say something. My 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 2 relatives are firefighters, and they are people that are the most helpful, generous people in the world, but they are very negative. And I think that's where some of this is coming. They don't like the people they have to go service. They think, they find they kind of manhandle the people who are most vulnerable, like the drunks and the partiers, the kids at the parties, that start fire. They're very judgmental, but they're in a field where they have to take care of these very vulnerable people at the worst time in their lives. And that's where, when I hear their judgments when they talk, like, deport everybody, and, we don't need, get rid of all these homeless people, I'm horrified because they're the people that we count on to take and pay to take care of those vulnerable populations. An old person, who calls. I didn't know this kind of things, like an old person who calls, who has no family anymore, sitting in their home, calling the fire department to get them to move from one chair to another, or they fall down. And what they say about those calls is heartbreaking. They don't want to go, they don't want to help anymore. Why doesn't their families do whatever? Why do they always have to do it? And I kind of put all that in the back of my mind until this is exactly what the vote it voted for. And there's a lot of people who voted for this, and that I know. And yeah, anyway, it's I just am sharing my vulnerability. I know better, but go ahead, Rafi. I am using you guys' technique, and I'm listening to Mandi every day, so I'm working on it.
We're
So
all doing the best we can. So yeah, go ahead, Rafi. Thank you, Joni. Thank you
Okay.
for your honesty and your vulnerability.
How is you getting upset going to fix anything? How's it going to change anything? You can't. It's impossible.
no, right,
All right.
right.
But if you welcome that upset, if you welcome that nausea that you get, and realize that it's either wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe and secure, or just resisting what's going on. I don't like this. I don't want this to happen anymore. I don't know what to do about it. That's not going to change anything. It's not going to fix anything. All it's going to do is ensure that you're identifying with those feelings, you're identifying with those thoughts, and it's killing you in this dream. Okay, it's killing that dream body. And that doesn't solve anything. It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't do anything for them. It doesn't do anything for anybody. All it makes sure is that you got to get more Tums. And so the Tums people are making a few bucks off you, but that's about all that's happening in this dream and in this illusion. And the best thing you can do, of course, as you mentioned, you hinted at it, is to welcome those feelings and be grateful for them. How many times have we heard be grateful for your triggers? Because they're leading you home. They're taking you by the hand and saying, let's go home to the home that we never left. That we are. I mean, we are infinite beings. There's no question about it. But as long as we keep identifying with thoughts and feelings and what's going on and trying to fix that world, I mean, ego comes from a victim mentality. There's a world out there and I got to handle it. There's no world out there. There's no ego. Ego's a thought and nothing has to be handled. If you step back and let the dream just evolve as it will and come from a place of watching, allowing, loving, being, and then again, be grateful for those triggers that come up. This is look how upset my stomach is. Oh my God, what's going on in my head that I need to deal with? There's the lesson that's being taught. Take a look at it, examine your thinking and correct it, and welcome the feelings and let them go and be grateful for all of it because it's all taking us home to a home we never left. I hope that helps.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that, Rafi. And yeah, I mean, that's what we have to look at. What is it for? And it's not for so that I'll be upset. It's so that I'll see the reason I'm upset and let go. It's so I'll see the reason that I think that I'm vulnerable, that I am going to die, that is bad things, or that I have to look at that. Now, who do I think I am anyway? And that's the bottom line right there. Well, who do I think I am? Am I this body, this person, this weak thing that's going to be attacked? Or am I the Holy Son of God?
The other thing you can do is use inquiry. Where are these feelings coming from? What's the source of the feeling? Well, the mind. All right, where did the mind come from? What's the? Don't answer the question. Just keep asking. What's the source of it? How did it originate? Where did it come from? Where did this I thing that thinks it was born, it's going to live a while and it's going to die? Where did that come from? And if you ask the questions, the mind has no answer for it, and it gets quieter and quieter and quieter. Then any feeling that comes up, welcoming, wanting approval, wanting control, wanting safety and security, and let it go. It's all a blessing if you see the truth of it.
Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, thank you. John, Sunday, my dear friend.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. So happy to be here. So happy to be here listening to the stories. And stories they are galore today. Oh, my goodness. Dub says you got to laugh. Anyway, let me say this. You know what? I'm so happy to be here because for me, in my little group here in my town, the half of the people were happy as all get out. And the other half was all sad and gloom and doom and wearing black at the result of the election. And I'm so happy that I was in the happy group because, whatever side I was on, it winds up. If I was in the side I didn't want, I would have to turn to what Dove always talks about, trust. I got to learn to trust whatever the hell is going on. And that would be my biggest lesson. So basically, I offer the idea that the people who are not happy is their greatest lesson is the one I didn't get. And they got an opportunity to trust big time. And this, is the big deal. Like if you have emotions that strong, oh my goodness, that's something else. I just saw a little quote this morning from a U.S. philosopher. His name is Arthur Danto. He was an art collector, and he said this: when I transfer my knowledge, I teach. When I transfer my beliefs, I indoctrinate. So, and I thought, oh my goodness, what do I know and what do I believe and what do I want to be, a teacher, or do I want to be an indoctrinator? So and really, for me, the teaching lies in Mandi's work. That's why I'm here, and I'm so honored to share the platform with all of you guys because we're all attracted to it. But the answer comes for me in this little two places. We're all in awe. It's the one key that opens every door, because awe brings with it a heart expansion. So that's the one word awe is that's important. I just want to highlight that word awe. The other quote I saw liked, our negative moods always offer a sign to show us we've left our inner shrine. So Lynn, that was a fantastic lesson you chose today. It's a fantastic lesson for me and for everybody, who's on board this train of gratitude. And I think that's about it, because when you open the story, Lynn, it was about miracle worker that came out. And just now, Joni's talking about wonder, a wonder going on. So we got these two words, awe and wonder, and how they tie with miracle is, I don't know if I told you, but I did learn it from somewhere, but very recently I learned the origin of the word miracle, and it was fresh and new, because I hang around this community for a long time, but nobody ever told me this, and I just discovered it recently. They've given me meanings, but the etymology of the word itself was unknown to me. And until this week, when I found out that one of the roots of miracle, the word miracle, is from the Old Greek word mira, M-I-R-A, mira, which means wonder and awe. Wonder and awe. And that's the bit, you just to be in a learning, a beginner's mind of wonder and awe. Wonder and awe at the universe at this point in time, and all these opportunities that's available to me, and my ability to grasp and latch onto them. Oh my goodness, that is wonder and awe. So I love you.
Thank you, John. Wonder and awe. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mandy, please go ahead, honey.
Oh wow, what a wealth of, it's like a beautiful bowl of fruit today. Everybody's just saying wonderful things. I hope we see Dev's lovely face, not just his photo at some point. Do you know, John, that was just lovely. I'm blown away by what you said there. That was so lovely. The awe and the wonder. Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. It's like there's going to be happy camps and not happy camps. It doesn't make any difference, because the thing is that what has happened is it's like it's sharpened everybody to have to be so present when you're quite happy with your health, or you're quite happy with who's in command or whatever, then it's actually more of a battle to live truth when we kind of feel all right and everything's just ticking along. But when something comes along that could or could not upend our sense of reality as it's been up to now, we are so sharpened up to this work. It's such a blessed thing. It really means that we have to be sharper than ever, and more in awe and wonder than ever, and stopping and really just looking at a flower for 5 minutes, and slowing things down, so that we're not running away with all these thoughts and ideas. It really is just about remembering to be present and present and present. So it's all a big gift, and it really is all perfect, and we don't have to fear, because like the poem that you permitted me to recite the other day, that where I said, today this is God's day, and there is no other power. And when I know this in every second of each hour, in that purity lies my security. The place whereon I stand is holy ground. Therefore, I am always protected, safe and sound. I and my Father are one. Therefore, I am imperturbable, no matter what appears to my eyes and ears. I am undisturbable because evil and disaster cannot find me, clad as I am in divine love's panoply. I cannot be attacked or taken by surprise. I'm invisible to darkness and veiled from its eyes because I live in the secret place of the Most High, curled up under the feathers of the Almighty Eye. So, this is what we have to remember all the time. The place whereon I stand is holy ground. So, I've been in loads of situations. Some I've mentioned ages ago, and without going into long stories, but just knowing that I am invisible to evil, when I know that for myself, I've just got to be clear for myself. It's because then when I'm clear for myself, then I can be clear for everybody else. You know what I mean? So it's terribly useful to have this. Nobody who lives in the mortal mind is perfect. So whoever you got in charge, believe me, there'd be imperfections. And those who have been cited to have been great commanders, presidents, prime ministers, and really up there, lifted up there, they've also had stuff going on that's been a bit iffy, we found out later on, so sometimes it's good to have somebody who is so out there honest in their, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Rather than those who appear good, and then there's all sorts of things. But you know what I'm saying? You only have to know that you are invisible to darkness. You are veiled from its eyes, and this wonder and awe and gratitude is the undoing of all that fear, and everything that Rafi has been saying. It's just about allowing this stuff to be there. It's that easy, really. You're not trying to think anything. Then you're just thinking, oh, you just shake with the fear and just let it. I mean, let it. I've had it where I've let it almost pin me to the bed. I've just allowed that fear in without the thoughts, you see, dropping the thoughts, and just you're left with the feeling, and it pinned me to the bed. And then it just does dissolve. It can't go anywhere else when you allow it so utterly and so completely. And then it really is, it is perfect. God knows what it's doing in every instance. So you can't say that anything wrong has happened, because nothing wrong can happen in the kingdom of the divine, that we are. So that's what I just wanted to say. Thank you. It's just a mixture of what we've all been saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where I want to stay. That's where I want to be, and that's where I want to stay. And I don't want to be in a place where I'm important, not enforcing fear, what enabling fear by adding to it when someone calls me and says, oh, this is a terrible thing, and I don't want to be over here going, yeah, it's really bad, isn't it? I'm really sad. I mean, I don't want to be in that place. I want to be in the place where look for the gratitude, look for the place where we can find gratitude, look for the place where I want to say that to myself, because I can't really tell anybody else anything. I've found that out. You can't tell anybody else anything. You can only tell yourself. And so I have to remember that, and then not fall into that hole, and help my brother out of the hole if I can. But sometimes my brother wants to stay in the hole. I found that out too. So and I've learned just very recently, do not try to talk your brother into wanting to get out of the hole. If your brother wants to be in the hole, they say, meet them where they are. And so, but I'm not going to climb down in the hole with them. There's no way that could be helpful. But maybe it can. I don't know. Anyway, I see Carrie has her hand up, and so does Rafi. There's Dove. Hi, sweetheart.
Yeah,
Uh, what is it you're just saying? It's like don't leave them where they are, meet them where they are. Happens to be the same thing. People say, please meet me where I am. That's the same thing as leave someone where they are. It's the same thing.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't want to be. I don't like I said. I don't want to meet you where you are. I mean, people say that, but where you are is not where I want to be, and I'm not gonna. I can't do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm being stubborn. Carrie, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, like everyone else, I was totally devastated by the results of the election. And I found that sometimes the feelings are so strong, whether it's a feeling of hopelessness or fear, I can't really welcome them. But then I try to remember, and this is so helpful, I allow the fact that I cannot welcome right now. And sometimes just that one little thing is so helpful because it's so much easier. And then I don't even really have to answer the question. I just say, can I allow this that I can't welcome right now? And a natural like relaxation comes over. So I don't know if that's helpful for anyone.
brilliant. That's brilliant. That's a great, Carrie. Absolutely. Can I welcome the fact that I can't welcome these feelings? That's real honesty, and that will always get you through. As well as, Lynn, I just say to people, I don't want to talk about it. Let's move on. And I'm very decided about it. They will not pull me at all. So don't be pulled, I would say.
Thank you. Yeah, and saying I don't want to talk about it is not rejecting you and your innermost feelings. It's I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to go there. That's not where I don't want to be there. I want to be here where I am, and you know, and I know you're here too. I think that's the other thing is I know you're here too, but you just don't see it because you're so caught up in this story. And if you can only see that that's not where you really are either. It's a story about who you think you are and what you think is happening.
But when
Uh,
you say, I don't want to talk about it, whether they know it or not, you are helping them. Because believe me, nothing's going to be helped with them going on and on about it. So you don't have to add anything to that.
yeah.
Just, I hear what you're saying and thank you for sharing, but I really have decided I'm not going to talk about this. So how are you? Move on, don't get
Like
drawn.
How are the kids? What's going on?
that's like
How
that's
are
like
you?
a big pause, right? You're asking for a pause of the ego stream.
Yes, exactly. And hey Mickey, good to see you, friend. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, what Mandy and Lynn mentioned earlier could be boiled down into one word: acceptance. And that's a very powerful state. It's a very high state, acceptance, letting everything be exactly as it is. The other thing Mandy mentioned earlier about imperturbability. In the 6 steps of the release technique, the first one is I must want imperturbability more than I want approval, more than I want control, more than I want safety and security. And I decide to release and be imperturbable because that's a state of peace. That's one step above acceptance. The other one, what you just mentioned about I don't want to talk about it, is mutuality. Lester used to say, if it isn't mutual, don't get involved because all you're doing is getting caught up in somebody else's thing. And that's some kind of ego projection. And so all of that stuff that has been said, I just sitting there going, yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's all the truth. And the thing about not, if it isn't mutual, don't get involved. The step beyond that is a sense of harmlessness for everyone, for all beings, all creatures. Uh, those two are very, very powerful because you're not saying what you're saying, I don't want to hear because it's a lot of crap. You just say, I just don't, it's not, I'm not going to get caught up in that. You're stepping back and looking at it from a point of the observer, of the witness, and not from that ego victim mentality. So those are very powerful things that I'm just grateful to be able to just say how grateful I am that you guys brought all of that up. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rafi. And yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, there are ways that we can do this without, people perceive it as, maybe, well, you're rude and you don't want to hear about my innermost feelings and what I'm really, that's not it at all. It's, you know, I don't want to talk about it. I love that.
The actual act of compassion when you do that, because you're coming from a place of love, saying, I don't want to get involved in that ego negativity. I allow, if you want to, I allow you to. I love you. It's fine. Go right ahead. Be as crazy as you want to be. Be as upset as you feel like you have to be. But I'm just not going to get caught up in it. I love you.
Exactly.
But not with me.
Allowing is very loving.
Yeah, I mean I've told this story before where I had a story about something that happened in my life, and I would go here and tell people the story, and I would go there and tell people the story, and I mean that was it. And one time I was at Vicky's house, and I told her the story, and then later on I started telling her the story again, and she said, "Lynn, you already told me the story once, and if you want to tell it again, I'll listen to it, but." What is it that you really want? Because I'm not buying into your story. And that hit me right there. Oh my God. I am a chronic uh storyteller here. And I'm not looking for, help. I'm looking for, sympathy, or, I'm looking for you to feel sorry for me or want to, oh, poor Lynn. I realized, I looked at my motives and realized why I was doing it, and I stopped. And I try not to do that now. If I have a story, I'm not going to use it to try to get your sympathy. Or I just recognized that was all I was doing, was really trying to manipulate people into thinking something or feeling something or being angry with another person that they don't even know on my behalf. And it's just how silly that is. So, that really, Vicky really helped me in that way. And I'll never forget that kindness because it really did stop a terrible habit that I had uh, that I wasn't even really aware of. Uh, anyway, John, Sunday, please go ahead.
Thank you, Lynn. And you started off with that. That reminds me of the story. So just to remember that, every time I has doing my storytelling, that's what I've defaulted to, storytelling. And the question I have to ask you and ask myself, of course, is do I want to tell a story, or do I want to be a story? And what kind of story do I want to be? And that kind of speaks directly to what Mandi Solk said today about God's Day. Where I stand is holy ground. So it's not about the story, it's what I stand. And I'm just offering you something today that I'm learning as holy ground is by being experientially here today and witnessing exactly what's going on. But I did learn something today, and which is important for me to share in terms of being. And Rafi spoke to it about love and the definition of acceptance. But I learned a definition and the meaning and practice of love, and it came from my friend Barbara, and she's defining love as unconditional acceptance. unconditional acceptance as a definition. So what does that mean? Like, if I can I remember that? Can I buy into that? Not only just acceptance, but unconditional acceptance. The meaning of that is another's needs are more important than my own. Another's needs are more important. Maybe you do need to tell a story at that time. Maybe you do. Maybe I can cut some slack for myself at story time. But another's needs are more important than my own. Remembering, because I'm standing on this holy ground, that I'm claiming, and the practice of it. And this is to say the practice and mean it, is that you are more important than any mistake you could ever make. It doesn't matter what you do, what's happened. It's who you are is way more important than any mistake. So those are the three definitions, or definition, the meaning and practice of love, which is something that is worthy of my attention to build my identity around with, versus my stories. Oh my God, those stories never end. So here is a new identity for John to walk with. And I see we're running out of time here, by the way, me gabbing it away. But so I guess somebody should read the poem for us, right?
Yeah, would you like to do that, John?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm going to put it back up in the room.
I just have to find the page. Oh, the amplitude. Oh, I'm so honored to read this poem, Mandi. I'm so honored to be here today. The amplitude of gratitude. Whenever you feel anxious, sad, or defeated, and cannot seem to get your task completed, or perhaps you feel angry or in a bad mood, the reason is mostly ingratitude. Whenever you feel negative in any way, and misery or apathy blights your day, it's because you've forgotten who you are. Asleep to the light of your inner star. But take heart. It's a temporary interlude, which will vanish the moment you feel gratitude, because gratitude dissolves all feelings of futility, being synonymous with humility, qualities which are both sides of the same coin, and when heeded, enable you to rejoin the path of love, where we're all in awe. It's the one key that opens every door, because awe brings with it a heart expansion, giving us entry to our inner mansion. This is our kingdom, our divine bolt hole, our source, our sanctuary and sacred soul. And when we abide here, life's no longer an encumbrance. Instead, we're alive to our blessed abundance, and knowing ourselves as loved, successful, and rich, and to ensure in the future we don't fall in a ditch. We surrender any attitude that borders on hateful into a feeling of being grateful. But gratitude goes deeper here. It's not just about the things we hold dear, but also for when times are bumpy and rough. We gratefully learn from those things that are tough. We don't give any special propriety to happiness over fear or anxiety. We're not looking to try and shift to better feelings, because they're all a gift. Our negative moods always offer us a sign to show us we've left our inner shrine. So how to end the inner feud? Just board the train of gratitude.
Can I just say that was beautifully read, and thank you and Rafi for reading that. It's really nice for me to hear, to hear it read out by different people. I love that, and just two things I just wanted to say. One to you, Lynn, is that the light that you offer through these meetings is more needed now than at any time. So don't ever think of giving up, please. All the meetings. And I just wanted, I felt it would be a good thing to for the last thing to remember is what Carrie said, is reminding us that when we can't welcome the feelings, then we just welcome that, because it's really great, isn't it, to remind ourselves that when we just can't do the spiritual thing but then we just welcome that, so it's all welcomed. And I think that's a great reminder. So thank you, Carrie, for that. And for me, thank you all for being here. I've just loved every minute of it. Thank you. Love you all so much. Oh.
I was just showing that I'm color coded with you guys this week. So all right, thank you all so very much. It's so great to see you all. And thank you, Mandy, for being here with us. I do appreciate it. And boy, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. So we'll see you all next week. I love you.